also known as coronavirus, is a global pandemic and it is here in Nigeria. But you can protect yourself and loved ones
Yes,
through
because let me
avoiding
take this
touching
one
public
away, please.
clean and
Can I just lift
disinfect
up this chair?
single
It's for
touch
traffic.
objects.
Yeah, like
Remember, if you have fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing, seek medical care quickly. For more information, call the National Center for Disease Control (NCDC) on the toll-free number 0800 9700 or send an SMS to 0809 955 5577. This message is brought to you by Women Radio, WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families.
Oh, no.
Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Miss Virgin of FM 91.7, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. Thank you so much for joining us once again. The news review is where we get to review the headlines across the major newspapers in Nigeria, like Punch, like Guardian, like Vanguard, like The Nation, like Daily Trust, like This Day, and also many more. So we get to review the headlines and make rounds. We also get to analyze some of these news stories as well. And we do have our analysts that will be joining us very, very shortly. But before that, we'll go through the headlines across some of these newspapers, across some of these dailies in Nigeria. And then would always love for you to be part of the conversation by always either sending in a text message or WhatsApp message to 070 317 56537 070 317 56537. Please do send in your messages in on time so that we can read them on time. Do not wait till the last minute to send in your messages. Thank you very much. My name is Timmy Tokwe. Ulile and have here with me this morning.
Esther Alaribi.
Yes, so let us go first with some of the headlines that is making rounds this morning. Let us start from Punch newspapers.
On the Punch newspapers, Humanitarian Ministry's roadmap consistent with national development, says Usibaju. UN capped federal government as Nigeria records 3,604 cholera deaths in 425 local government areas. NAS threatens nationwide protest as ASU declares fresh strike. On drug business, police tackle NDLEA, agency detains Abba Kyari and four others. ASU begins 4-week rollover strike, governors oppose action in state varsities. On deadly flogging, police await autopsy, parade suspect, Delta State insists on justice. Over to the Vanguard newspapers.
From Vanguard, banditry insurgency led to closure for all schools, institutions in 8 Katsina LGA, says Professor Sanluga. Oshu government accuses Arebashala of allegedly invading state capital with armed thugs. Save us from land grabbers, Oginyo begs Oyetola. About the 2023 elections, stop distracting Emefiele, group rewards politicians. UNICEF seeks to end recruitment of children, or seeks end to recruitment of children by armed groups in Nigeria. Man allegedly defiles own 3 daughters in Lagos. And I'm moving on to Nation.
On the Nation newspapers, ASU grounds varsities for 4 weeks, Abba Kyari for extradition to US after NDLEA probe. Photo shows ASU over Pantami's professorship. PDP governors urge Buhari to sign Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Over to the Guardian newspapers.
Yes, regarding newspapers, Soludo denies request applications for political appointments. Amotekun blacklists Yahoo boys, ritualists in Ondo. That increase will trigger extreme poverty, Oxfam warns the federal government. Regulator mom over scarcity as NNPC relocates team to Lagos. And telecom sector's challenges cut to 5 million users from networks in 2021. Moving on to this day.
On the These Day newspapers, on impeachment, court to hear Zamfara deputy governor's suit March 10. Delta government assures justice for boy who died after flogging. House urges Nigeria Customs to meet 3 trillion naira revenue target. Emefiele says it is Buhari's prerogative to plan his succession. This is coming in from the EU. EU announces 21 billion naira fund for graduate employment scheme in Nigeria. On COVID-19, Nigeria may not meet March vaccination target, stakeholders says. Over to the Daily Trust newspapers.
And from Daily Trust, Haneze says 2023 will determine Igbo status in Nigeria. Kwara renewed hijab prices. Government 6 peace as one is killed, 11 injured. On Oshu 2022, Arekushala endorses ex-SSG Adioti announces relationship with Oyetola. In 2021, cholera killed 3,062 in 33 states, Abuja says the federal government. And from a report, 70 MBA failed to account for 255 billionaire in 2019. And from pen pushing newspapers, cocaine saga, police arrest Kiari hands over to drug law agency. Yes, so those are some of the major headlines making rounds across some of the dailies in Nigeria right now. We just reviewed Punch, Vanguard, Nation, Guardian, This Day, Daily Trust, and Pen Pushing. Like I said earlier, you can be part of our conversation. In fact, we want you to be part of a discussion of our conversation by either sending a text or WhatsApp message to 070317 56537 070317 56537. And thank you once again for joining us on this review. WFM 91.7, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. It is 23 minutes to 8 right now. And I'm so glad once again to have our analyst with us again in the studio with us on the program. Thank you, Mr. Olaiwaji Obideyi Lobingo, for being here again today. It's
always my pleasure being here.
Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Lobinko.
Yeah.
You played the first one on me this morning, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's always a pleasure to have you physically in the studio because usually we do it over the phone. But thank you for some time that you've been coming into the studio. We really do appreciate you for that. Yeah. So we're going to be going through some of the news stories that has been making rounds this morning. Yes. Let us start first of all with this headline from Punch newspapers, and this one says. Yeah, this one says involve CSOs, NGOs in regulatory laws. The European Union tells the federal government involve CSOs, NGOs in regulatory laws. The European Union tells the federal government. The Component 2 manager, European Union agents for Citizen-Driven Transformation Program, Eden Udokong, has called on the Nigerian government to allow civil society organizations actively participate in the laws regulating them. According to him, the bill is seeking to address regulatory and administrative issues, among others, for non-governmental organizations in the country, recently scaled second reading at the Senate. Udokong said he believed that allowing the NGOs to participate in the process will make the laws more inclusive and acceptable, thereby improving the level of compliance among the organizations. Labinko, would you agree with what the CSOs and the NGOs are saying? There's a representative of the European Union, and they're saying that they should allow CSOs. Actually, they should allow CSOs and NGOs to be part of regulatory laws, to be part in the policy making, and to be part of the implementation and all that. What are your thoughts? Would you agree with what the European Union is saying here?
To some extent, I would agree. Because, of course, it's always said that you can't be the complainant and then the judge at your case at every time. But involving them in the process gives more highlight. I mean, we should now talk about the level of involvement in making or creating these regulations like ICANN. Of course, they shouldn't dictate the regulations, but their input, the experiences,
Yes.
can be can be applied, can be looked into to make regulations. Uh, of course, we all know it that regulations made for not even the NGOs or CSOs now. There are some of the regulations made for even ordinary businesses. But those making these regulations are not in the system. They probably don't understand the nitty-gritty of it. And as such, there are some regulations which, rather than promote the sector, is more or less killing the sector. So on that note, I would say yes, they should be involved, but the level of involvement should just be defined.
Would you also agree that CSOs and NGOs usually are very, very conversant and very, very used to the grassroots? Some of them usually have know exactly what the grassroots, what they go through, their challenges, what they do. So, would you think that if like you said, if they're involved, they will be able to carry the federal government along with exactly what they need, those people need right there?
Um, I totally agree with that. Um, you know, considering that most NGOs, the target is actually always the grassroots. You
Yes.
talk about any NGOs, be it the big ones, be it the small ones,
Yes.
the target is always so yes, it's good. It won't be a bad one
Mm.
because we've always said it. The government is quite far, very far from the grassroots most of the time. The closest arm of government to the grassroots ordinarily should be the local government.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we know that the local government is even controlled in most cases by the state government. So it would be a bad idea looking at it from the perspective as well. I mean, from that perspective of
Yes.
bringing the NGOs
Yes.
in formulating policies and
Yes.
regulations.
All right. Thank you. Let's move on to another news story making headlines this morning.
So this one on the Punch newspaper is quite interesting because the buzz around it has just been hot takes flying everywhere here and there. On the Punch newspapers, drug business police tackle NDLEA agency detains Abakari and four others. The Nigerian police force has accused some officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at the Akano Ibiam Airport of Enugu State of being on the payroll of some international drug barons barely hours after the NDLEA declared the suspended commander of the police intelligence response team, Abba Kyari, wanted for alleged drug trafficking. Remember last year the whole indictment of Abba Kyari with the connection with Hush Puppy and all of that. Now this is coming. Different people have different things. Some people are saying, "Oh yes, thank God this is coming out now." Other people are saying this is just a ploy to distract people to avoid him being extradited to the US for the proper punishment and all of that. What are your takes on it?
Just last week,
Mm.
you remember I was talking about Habak here.
Yes.
This case, I mean, we seem not to be hearing anything about it. Nigeria is a very dicey country when it comes to justice. The path to justice is too crooked.
Mm.
Uh, a good one, the fact remains, like I would always tell you, there's nothing happening negatively in any environment that the government is not a part of, either directly, that's actively or passively. And this comes to vindicate me. Uh, I watched the video, and we might because the only reason this the flying of opinions
Mm.
is happening is because even we Nigerians we don't trust our system.
Mm.
And that's why someone would say it's just that the fact remains, if he's found guilty of this,
Yes.
he will be charged. He's been charged for it, prosecuted for it. And for those who are thinking it's just a ploy to distract, of course that's a no-no. if there's a real need to extradite him. I know the police commission had also already set up a panel to that effect, and this happening is more like tightening the noose around his neck. I mean, this is a great allegation, something you're supposed. I mean, we've heard from Abakari, I mean, we've heard from Rushpopi, now NDNA is involved, and don't be surprised that a lot of confessions will still come up, and when these things come up and it's being more, it becomes already. I want to believe that he's ordinarily in a state system. It's finished. I was looking at one of the pictures of one of those arrested alongside it. One ACP that is nicknamed Too Much Money. It just goes to show. I mean, how can an ASP, Assistant Superintendent of Police, live such a luxurious life? I mean, I was looking at his house, an ASP, and like I said, except the authorities involved, things like this wouldn't happen. Because for him to have become the super cop he is, and for him to have so much skeleton in his cupboard, is definitely the fathers. Probably in the system, in the police system, or in the government. And this is just a small fry we're catching. The real big fries are still out there.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. How many more ESPs include do we are there out there that we don't even know about?
When you
That we don't
talk
even know about, yeah.
when you talk about the rank of ASP is not a big rank. You understand? I mean, you have ASP, you have ACPs before you have DCPs, before, you know. So for that kind of affluence to be in the system, and that's why you see a lot is happening. The problem we have in Nigeria is that Kinshatilo, nobody asks questions again. I mean, in the past, I'm from Ondo State and we pride ourselves in that. You see a young boy who's been working, brings home a big tool car. The whole neighborhood wants to know. The parents wants to know, how did you make the money?
Yes.
The whole neighborhood wants to know. Then it used to be a case of a good name is better than all the riches of the world. But right now, and that's exactly what transcends into our system. All those young boys involved in ritual killing, in Yahoo and all that, they know that the worst that happens is if they are apprehended by the police, they sub them 50,000, 100,000. So it's the decay is too deep.
Mm.
It's too deep, and Abakari is just one of them. It's something that we should really be working.
So an intensive investigation has to be carried out.
Exactly.
The FBI, if they hadn't actually investigated this case, FBI is the foreign intelligence agency. If they hadn't proved this case at all, do you think Abakari would haven't even been discovered at all?
Nigeria is run in cartels. I'm talking of units of cartels. I remember I once had a transaction with someone, and the person was defaulting in the transaction. And I was like, man, we have all these things, the highs crossed and the T's dotted. I mean, why should we? I think I should take this to the next level. And the person told me categorically, what's your problem? I didn't buy sorry and shit. We are good to court. You are the one you will meet that. And that's exactly about how Nigeria is. And until we can develop a system to that point where it's not a case of there is a lot of things wrong with the system. I've seen people intentionally take off justice just because of their relationship.
Do you know somebody?
No, I mean, those people should be in the seat of authority to make up justice. They just intentionally. I've had an experience, funny enough, with a CSP who was in charge, and I was brought to him, of course, of false claims.
Mm.
Obviously, false claims, but because the guy is his friend, and the guy even had the dexterity of going as far as if you're a Christian and this your man too is a Christian. Why do you have to? I mean, living kafetele kamalila palakma, it's something that it just goes to show that Nigeria is in a deep shape, and as long as we have this kind of system in place, it will be difficult. Of course, you could try to help a friend, and the best way to help anybody is by being honest to them.
Mm.
You see, a lot of things happen in this country. Someone, because they are close to authority, they just say, "Adefi Yanje," and they just pick
And they just
an
do it.
innocent person
Mm.
who, I
Just
mean,
keep it on the
just
Yeah.
these things happen, and our legal system is still work in progress, because when things like this happen, ordinarily it's something that the victim should take up in the court of law, and but the wherewithal to pursue it, in most cases, is not there.
Mm.
You have a lot of people in the prisons, in the dungeons right now, and they are very innocent of whatever accusation has been
Yeah.
laid on them.
Mm.
But the system is not even having a system in place that will make sure those things are well investigated and sorted.
Let's move on now to another one from Vanguard. This headline says, "Man allegedly defiles all three daughters in Lagos." Man allegedly defiles own three daughters in Lagos. An Ikeja Magistrate Court on Monday ordered the remand of 43-year-old Ademola Oladimeji in Kirikiri Correctional Center for allegedly defiling his three daughters and assaulting their mother. The magistrate, A.O. Ajibade, who did not take Oladimeji's plea, directed the police to send the case file to the State Director of Prosecutions for advice. To adjourn the case until March 2nd for DPP's advice. This man has been arraigned on a two-count charge of defilement and assault. Yes. Also, from this news story, said that the mother of the girls had reported that the accused had been defiling their daughters aged 9, 7, and 5, allegedly inserting his finger into their private parts. Now, Mabiko, I just this is something we see in the news almost every time. Either a father defiling his daughters, or just rape or sexual assault of minors, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on. Do you have an idea? Why, being a man, why a father would want to defile his own daughter? I mean, I know it's a strange question, but coming from a man's perspective, why would a man want to defile his own daughter?
Fair enough. It's said to be alleged.
Yes. Mm.
And, I want to play the devil's advocate.
Yes.
Because as a gentleman that I am,
Which you are, yes.
I have three daughters.
Mm.
I can't wrap my head around anything that would even make me think along that line. So it's, but like they say, hell hath no fury, like it's coming woman. Uh, that's we our investigative unit needs to be very strong. Before this case is taken to the courts, I'm very sure there would have been questioning and all
Yes.
that. And I want to trust the Nigerian government that the facts are established before taking it to court, so that it's not just a kind of home issue that was now escalated just to teach them a sense in case there are people pushing the woman. These things happen. We don't have to uh, shy away from things like this.
Okay, you mean trying to teach the woman a lesson?
No,
Okay.
like probably the woman might have people
Okay.
that, I mean, she might be having issues with her husband.
Okay, so you think it could be a false allegation?
It could be.
Okay,
That's why it
okay,
said it's
okay,
alleged.
yes.
But now, let's assume it's not alleged, it's real. What makes a man do that? Because of our climb,
Mm.
it could be a case of ritual.
Okay.
It could be a case of mental disorder.
Mm.
And, if it's not one of the two, then I don't know.
Yes.
Because I mean, the difference, I'm looking at the body structure of the mind. Why should it appeal even to any sensible man? So if all of this is out of the equation, of course, if it's ritual, then of course such person must be prosecuted and well properly dealt with. If it's a case of mental disorder, then we know that such person should immediately get medical attention. But if it's just a case of irresponsibility, people like that are dangerous to the environment. I mean, I think why would anybody be involved in pedophile acts?
Yes.
Why would any? I mean,
Especially your own daughters.
I mean,
that's what maybe makes it much more troubling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not something I can wrap my head
Yes.
around, and there's no way that if someone is actually guilty of this, I don't think there should even be a long case process on this.
Yes.
The moment it's established, just sentence the person. That would be the loss of such people in our universe is actually a plus for the universe, not a subtraction.
Yes.
So
You talk about it could be a case of mental disorder. Do you think we have a lot of people in our society that have a lot of mental health issues that we don't even take cognizance of, and they just just walk randomly on the streets, and we don't even take, even with mental health, do you think we're even taking mental health seriously in this country?
you see, the the Nigerians are very strong, and especially the way of life is not to cause mental disorder. Like you, if you decide to argue about Nigeria matter, go to newspaper stand. If care is not taken, if you make that thing a habit, it can cause a mental disorder. Because you know where they're arguing for an argument, and then you're going on, you're thinking about it. Overthinking is what brings about mental disorder. So yes, it is a given that I mean we have a lot of social media celebrities now that ordinarily should be tested for mental. You know, you have the one that is preaching about the fire. You have the one that says is the one that can talk to anybody anyhow, and nothing will happen. You know, a lot of them like that. Ordinarily, these are signs of mental disorder. So we have them, but when it's not uh, so obvious, of course, you can just call, and that's why as individuals as well, we should always look out for one another. You see a friend who is exhibiting things, the pressure is much. Pressure is much, and we handle these pressures in different ways. Especially when love does not go around, it makes it worse because uh, you realize that a lot of people that are most criminals are actually psychologically believes they are fighting justice. I mean, fighting against injustice in the sense that, oh, this money is supposed to belong to all of us. Why is it that someone is taking it? So which I must take. You understand what I'm saying? It's more like, and that's why. That's why.
Yeah. Hmm. Thank you, Lubinko. Lubinko is our analyst on the newspaper review this morning. And I want you day, Lubinko. Thank you for being here once again. It is 1 minute past 8. This is the newspaper review on WFM 91.7. Yes, if you want to send in your thoughts, your own opinions on all these issues we're discussing, please go ahead and send a text or WhatsApp message to 070 317 56537. 070 56537. We'd love to hear from you. Send a text or WhatsApp message to 070 56537. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Let's move on now to another headline making rounds this morning.
This one of the punches says stopping women from working night shifts limits their chances. The managing director of an organization has said that women should be given the prerogative to choose the option of night shift if they so please, as this would provide an avenue for equal opportunities for both male and female employers. He also further explained that the issue of gender disparity is also one of the limitations for women to maximize their potential in Africa. He also said, we are aware of some existing laws where females are not allowed to work at night in their industry, and for whatever reason, we are trying to work with the industry to let the government know that the law is an inhibition that we do not need anymore in 2022. Rubiko, what are your thoughts on allowing women work night shifts?
Um, I'm happy that women every day are fighting for women empowerment and gender, to eradicate gender disparity.
Yes.
And if that would be achieved, I mean, we've seen lots of women achieve great feats in ordinarily industries or sectors that would either to have been a taboo for women. And so, as long as i- it's something consonant with the law, as long as it's there's virtually anything a man can do that a woman cannot do.
Mm.
Uh, the let's forget about the bone structures and all that. The fact remains, and every time I look at my life, I even actually think that women are stronger. Like the way they push after the lead, they have this way they still push.
Mm.
So I don't think it augurs or speaks well for uh, women to be relegated to the background, or they should be restricted from, except it's seen as dangerous to their health, except it's seen as dangerous to your system. There's no reason why they should be restricted. That's it for me.
Yes. So you agree women should be allowed to work?
Yes, I mean, as long as their male counterparts can
the
work,
same?
and it's not like they working as an adverse. I mean, if this restrictions is just based on emotional and sentimental, women are
Mm.
weak, and no, it should.
Let's talk about creating safe spaces, safe working environments for women, because honestly, in workplaces, even in daytime, women are sexually harassed. Now, not talk about somebody who works night shifts and you're left with maybe this supposed person that comes, talk, or just touches you in some places. I think we need to look into creating safe spaces for women that work
This,
like night shifts.
I don't want to be sentimental. When we talk about harassment,
Mhm.
we both gender have fair share of it,
Okay.
but the women are being pronounced
Mm.
just because the women also wants to always present themselves as the weaker sex. The only reason we are having this discourse
Mhm.
is because women are seen as the weaker sex. That's the point. Now, get what I'm trying to say is
Okay.
Imagine a guy saying he did the house. Who would listen to the person? Now,
Okay.
you know, you are really the work environment should. What I'm saying is, don't look at it at making it safe for women. Look at it for making it safe for everybody working there. And what are the measures that can be put in place? As simple as CCTV cameras can do,
Policies.
and policies can do that. I was reading on the social media sometime early this year, where the guys after resuming from the holidays just told the lady,
Yeah, you're looking sexy, something like that.
and,
I saw
and,
that.
and the lady just you know took offense, sent it to of course yes. The fact remains, relationships differ. There are friends I can call, hey babe, and there are people I should call man and all that. So as long as those boundaries are broken, it's also good that we have the systems in place, not just to protect the women. That's what I'm just saying, but to protect everybody as well. Because the moment one gender is seen as the weaker uh, gender, it gives an advantage of exploitation, and that's why you want to mess up anybody now. Just put it out there that this guy. I mean, that news that goes out first, even
Yeah.
before it could damage a whole lot of things.
Mm.
But if we have a system where it's all balanced out, like I said, I think women are actually even stronger than men. It's just that, and that's why you see that wherever women are, they make the best bosses, they make the best administrators, they even also make the best criminals. I mean, there was this joke.
What is that?
There's-
What is
Really?
that, Lobiko?
there was this joke
Best
going.
criminal.
No, there was this joke going around recently. Like this woman entered into the bank, she was all naked, and can you believe she robbed the whole bank? And
How is that?
not one man saw her face, and she was not wearing a mask.
How?
That's to tell you how powerful women can be. So please, you guys shouldn't stop looking at yourself as the weaker sex.
Nobody is
Actually,
saying women are
or
the weaker
weaker
selves.
gender.
No. But you would agree with me that the possibility of a woman being sexually harassed is way, way higher than a man being sexually harassed.
I totally agree, and there's no justification for that. Like,
Yes.
there's no reason why anybody should be harassed. But I'm just saying that when we're looking at things, this it's unfortunately it's all over the world, and our world is I don't know from where that started. I don't know what it is. So, but even myself, it hurts me
Mm.
to see women as toys. You see in videos, you see it's the women that exposes themselves and all that. It just goes to show. I mean,
Yes.
it's something that as much as we are looking for laws to come against it, women should also stop seeing themselves as the weaker sex. Because it amazes me when a woman, uh, because of what she's going to be paid, decides to be the crazy dancer for a video shoot and all that. These are part of what I'm saying. And when you see stuff like that, it also gives the men this kind of like they're the ones in charge. It's something that needs to be balanced, and women, beyond anything, should make efforts to present themselves as not weaknesses.
Yes. You're right, because if a woman is presented with a role, maybe for a music video, and she has to wear very, very sexually overt clothing, or very, very clothing that's really, really
Exposes
exposes
everything.
that exposes all her body, why can't she turn it down? Must she accept it? Must she go ahead with it? And she can turn it down and respect herself, say, no, I'm not going to do that. So you're right in a way about that. And also about the woman being the weaker sex. For me, I still find it very, very, I find it very hard to believe, because if women can go through the process of childbirth, uh, childbirth I don't know.
It's like I said,
I don't
like
know
like I've already told you, I think
if a
women are
man can go
stronger.
through that process.
I think women are
Yes,
stronger, and I would
yes,
always
yes.
say that. I mean, most of the time when you look at my wife, and I mean, when I've shut down and
Mhm.
she's still going on, and you know,
Yes.
women are strong.
We can go on and on of this, but let's move on quickly to another headline. This is coming from this state says the European Union announces 21 billion naira fund for graduate employment scheme in Nigeria. The European Union yesterday announced funding of 44 million euros, which is about 21 billion naira for the Nigerian Jubilee Fellows Program, aimed at employing graduates who recently concluded the mandatory 1 year National Youth Service Corps NYC. Executive Vice President of the EU, Margrethe Vestager, who is currently on a working visit to Nigeria, made the announcement during an investment roundtable on NJFP in Abuja. And speaking at the event, she said the European Union's intervention in the scheme, which will be contracted to the United Nations Development Project, is the first concrete commitment that the EU is making in support of youth as part of a new multi-annual program with Nigeria. A lot of schemes like this do occur in Nigeria, maybe for poverty. Money is the funds are donated for poverty, alleviate poverty in Nigeria, to alleviate, several issues in the country that we need help with, especially during COVID-19 period. A lot of money was donated, a lot of funds was donated. And so my thing is this with this right here. First of all, this monies get donated, funds will get donated. What are your thoughts about the transparency and the accountability of it all? You hear in the news about this funds being donated, but then again, after that, you don't hear anything else about. It. You don't know who are the people that actually are the recipients of this funds. How the process, the transparency, the accountability, you don't hear anything. So, what would you have to say about that? Because it just seems like the money gets donated or the funds get donated,
Yes,
and then it disappears into thin air.
a system that's not accountable.
Mm.
You would never grow. And it's one of the problems we have in Nigeria. I was talking here the other day about a panel set up in the House of, I think House of Rep or something.
Mhm.
Uh, and this uh, a request for, was it about $500, $500,000
Mhm.
was made to get that loan for a particular ministry. And do you know that of that money, that sum, I can't remember the sum exactly now, 10% or more of it was tax processing fee. This is money that you're borrowing with interest. And you're saying to process that kind of loan alone, 10%, I mean, is unaccounted for. And what's the meaning of this processing fee? Logistics, to rub hands, to. And then the person sitting on the panel said, last year, you guys got XYZ approved. And have you, in your reports, you just said, of the XYZ amount, we've been able to reach 40 communities. And we chose no name of those communities, no name of the beneficiaries. You understand?
Yes.
This is where accountability steps in. And you see, we the way money is being shared in Nigeria would never encourage hard work. The way money is being shared, it's just a matter of you being in the circle. The moment you're in the circle, you don't have to walk, you don't have to be creative or anything. And you realize that money just starts coming. We've heard of instances where there's a program that is supposed to take maybe 500 youths out of Nigeria and train them in India. And you realize that the people at the ministries, I mean, those heading the seats there, maybe the PSAs, the directors, they just bring in their families and maybe just find two, three, four, five people. And the project that is supposed to go around the country that should have It's already budgeted for. Take those people there, do YouTube video, and bring them back, probably establish one or two, just laying of foundations of this project. No follow up, nothing. And at the end of the day, something that's supposed to benefit everybody. You see, it just goes like that. And Nigeria is poor, not because we don't have the mental capacity to reach. For anywhere you see there's wealth, wealth is actually when it comes to money. Money is created. It's not even about the resources you have. It's about your creativity of bringing something out of nothing. And that's why you can see the Dubai's, the Singapore's, and all that, the China, all coming up with great inventions.
Yes.
But in our own part of the world here, I think we are the spenders. We just think, and the average Nigerian is also just only thinking of spending. And when you spend, when you're not in, it's a problem.
Mm.
And that's why the country is in the best it is. Just make the money. Everybody wants to make money. The girls are doing rituals, the boys are doing rituals, the police are collecting bribes. Anybody that is in a position of authority is there most times, not in all cases, but in most cases, they are there for personal aggrandizement, not to contribute to the nation building process.
Yes, thank you very much for that response. So let's move on now to some of the messages we have from our listeners. If you do want to send in your comment on all the issues we discussed so far, please go ahead and send a text or WhatsApp message to 070 317 56537 Let's move on now to this comment from Abiola from Ikeja saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning. In case of Abakari, I believe that there are more politicians and government officials involved. Esther, take a look at the response from the IGP. Although the NDLE has been the most effective and best agency in Nigeria and the NDLE officer deserves a national award, IGP and NDLEA indicting themselves of their respective corrupt officers. I hope more secrets will be unraveled. Please, can analysts kindly explain why ASU said Pantami is an illegal professor?
Oh, I think I feel very honored and like I think that person thinks too much of me. I'm not a member of ASU, but I want to believe that before anybody is giving that reputable tag of a professor, a lot of water must have gone under the bridge. Uh, and professorship is a result of hard work.
Yes.
Uh, so for us to have come up to say he's not a professor, they have their reasons, and at times it's not just good to throw allegations around. It's better we back up our allegations with facts, and that's what I would expect of ASU. I mean, ASU has just discredited a notable Nigerian, uh, and I wouldn't just want to take that because ASU said so.
Hmm.
The reasons ASU said so, I want to believe their theses, their works that Pantami had done that made him to be qualified, being called a professor. So if if this is wrong, I mean, we should not just leave Pantami to respond to this now. For us to have a balanced system, ASU needs to tell us why.
Yes, so words from ASO here, what I found, they said Pantami cannot be a minister and be a lecturer in a university. It is an encouragement of illegality. And also, they also said the highest academic attainment of Pantami before he ventured into politics, he was just a lecturer. So now ASO is coming out to fault Futo, saying on what basis was that awarded to him? Why would you call him a professor? Why would that be given to him?
So that's explanatory. I know in the universities we have a lecturer one, lecturer two, then
Senior lecturers.
senior lecturers, associate professor, doctors, and all that. So, but in Nigeria, things are funny. Obviously, you can't do two jobs at a time, especially a taxing job like this. You can be a minister and at the same time, no, you can be a professor. Our vice president is a professor.
Yes.
I mean, it's a professor based on merit, based on
Yes.
it's just like being called a doctor. It's something you've worked for.
Yes.
But aside that, the vice president, if he leaves Aso today, can go back to the class to start teaching, can go back to the chambers to start
Yes.
practicing.
On
But
merit.
with
Because,
the
yes.
with the level of job, with the level of responsibility on his table now, he can tell us that he's still a lecturer in the university as of today. That's there would definitely be a clash of interest. So on that note, I will go with Hasu. I mean, you can't say you are still in class while you're studying minister.
Yes.
One has that's an illegality. Because what that means is probably being paid from both hands. And this is what we talk about in Nigeria, you know. And then now probably because you are opportune politically, you now give yourself another something. I remember while we were in the university, there's this guy who teaches us computers. So we always call him engineer. And then the literally one said, who made you an engineer? Do you know the meaning of being an engineer? And probably So these are things that should also be known. So by what so I said, I think it's explanatory. It's not like you have gone through the rigor to be called a doctor. I mean, before you even get to that point of being a professor, you have to be a doctor at a point in time. And I don't know if it's ever been there. So if it's never been there, then it's really not what you call a professor.
Thank you. Let's move on to Rosen Jalali Motif Malapere. He's saying, good morning, dear presenters. Good morning. One day, the bush meat will catch the hunter. Our acclaimed Super Cup did not only disappoint us, his astute followers, but the whole nation and the Nigerian race. No matter how fast a light travels, truth will catch up with it once he decides to travel.
That's very apt, and
Yes.
that's what I'm always saying. Like probably that's why we have decided to remain sincere, honest, whatever have
Mm.
you know. And the unfortunate thing is that the day truth catches up, it's always disastrous. The DCP as own number one cop, a super cop, a hero, being handcuffed like a mere criminal. Uh, if it's someone with still with an out of shame in him, it's enough to destroy anybody forever, you know. And of course, let's just pray that this is not messed up. I'm not condemning you until it's proven totally condemned.
Yes.
You know, um, but if condemned, I'm not going to be surprised. There's just way too lot of them. There's too many of them. I mean, people, it amazes me that you hear people seeking appointments these days, political appointment. I'm talking of even as an ordinary councillor. They are, they are thinking of going there because of the perks they feel is there. Whether we like it or not, money is very ephemeral. I've seen it happen severally. I've seen people that could be rated as the richest at a point in time. I was reading about what's his name, uh, Frank Ajubwa recently, while he was saying that everything he invested, even his children are not interested in.
Yes.
What is very ephemeral. We just need to take life easy and then make sure that we contribute positively to the world,
Yes.
especially when we have the opportunity to
Yes.
serve.
Yes. We have a lot more comments here. So I'll just finish up with we're saying this comment saying Nigeria will survive. Allah bless Nigeria. Thank you, Sandra Lawado, Chief Malakwe, for always sending in messages of this review. Moving on now to Engineer Wale in Ikorodu saying, morning WFM crew, good morning. On Abakari's case, I think the IGB needs to tell Nigerians why Abakari was still active in service till today, when he said last year that he has been suspended from the police force. They should stop taking us for granted. On ASU strike, the federal government is paying lip service to the agreement reached with the union. Government should stop playing with the future students in high institutions. It is time government fulfill their own part of the agreement. We can't continue to have ASU strike every year. Have a great day, engineer. Wally, thank you. I'm going right along to L. Kennedy. L. Kennedy says, words of Marvel 101, don't give in to procrastination, adapt to the application principle, take it upon yourself and start doing something to improve your condition. Procrastination is the grave where success is buried. Thank you, L. Kennedy Victor, a social change advocate. Moving on now to, let's see here. Yes, already read that message already. This is coming from Adesua in Ibafo. Hello, Adesua. How you doing?
Good morning,
Saying,
Adesua.
good morning, WFM crew. Good morning. For me, being a weak vessel is a personal theme. Nobody can make you weak if you don't want to. Weakness starts with your heart, and most especially the way you take what people say about you. Thank you very much, Adesua. Resente says once again, good morning, dear presenter. We having all these challenges in the country because we have allowed the organized cabals in the two major political parties to have a good time always. Until we vote them out, irrespective of who their flag bearer is, I doubt if anything will change in this country. Masses, please wake up from your deep slumber. Thank you, Resente, once again. A lot of messages, real quickly. Titus Rikeda says, good morning. Good morning. On the issue of father defiling his daughters, the wife too should be interrogated. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't starve the man off. Maybe you mean she does starve the man off.
That's no excuse.
Maybe what
not an
he's trying to say.
Not an excuse.
However, the man should face the music. Yes, women can work, but I don't support women working late. In an attempt for feminism, please provide security protections against all manners of vices because no one may hear her when she screams. Please, all these NGOs should stop donating or countries borrowing us monies without building infrastructures and industries, which further increases our debts and impoverish us. Yabo from Moshodi is saying it's so hard to find people of like minds. Rather, we have everywhere littered with corrupt minds. This cannot create a developed nation because these bad eggs continue to recycle themselves in the system. No one wants to build for the future except to borrow, expand. Many youths are out there crying for support, but no politician can sponsor certain tech or invention, but they throw monies in the air and build thoughts for their dirty minds. Morning, thank you, Gabo from Oshodi. Martin from Oshodi is saying, on Abakari, I'm looking at you people from the corner. This may be a ploy to stop his extradition to the US. Let me see if we have another one here. On text, yes, we have one from Comrade Ikechukwu saying, I support ASU strike to say all the children of government and lawmakers are schooling here, they for answer ASU KT, okay? Meaning that if the children are here, they'll quickly agree to what ASU wants. And it also says, even in the health sector, I have never heard Nigerian ministers on strike before. Pete ASU now. Real quickly, just have 30 seconds before we sign out. What are your final thoughts on all these comments?
I think my final thoughts will go to all Nigerians. The fact remains, for Nigeria to be good, it will be the responsibility of leadership.
Yeah.
And corruption will be on the increase or decrease based on the angle or the perception of those in leadership. They want to look at the law. But as Nigerians now, the responsibility of picking that leader lies in all of us. We should be more politically, we should be more interested in politics. We should be interested in the politics of our country. We should not just sit back and say they already know what they want. I mean, at times, a revolutionary vote like that person that will decide to vote against the person. And right now, we have a lot of things working for us. We have technology working for us. We have uh, a lot of things working for us. We should not give up on ourselves, even if we're going to give up on the country.
Well, thank you so much, Lobinko Obide Lawaju Lobinko, for being here with us again.
It's
I
always
you
my
are
pleasure.
analyst
I
on the
beat you to
program
it
today.
this morning.
Thank you always.
Yeah, I beat you guys to it.
Thank you.
I know I was coming.
Thank
No,
you so
really.
much. I really appreciate you being here physically with us this morning. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you for always listening to us and it's for review on WFM 91.7. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. My name is Tiani Topai Oluleye.
My name is Esther Larabe. Good morning. Do have a great day. Let me end that. I should go start. Thank you for coming. In fact, you really surprised us. He didn't go to the gym this morning.
No, I'm not going.
Please, we're very sorry. Have you given him his? Oh.
So yeah,